Alright, first things first, gonna take a look at the Clan War game that I just played. Pretty standard TVT macro game. Fortunately for me, it was bio versus bio. Goodness knows I did not want to play versus mech, especially on this map. I even thought for a few seconds about playing mech myself. Played Hendronimus. Yeah, oh, you know him? He seemed like a pretty decent player. His MMR, like I said, is like 4763 or something. He's also Master 2. His MMR is technically Master 3 after they just changed it, but Master 2 player. Not really, but he gets a lot of subs. Oh, really? That's cool. Good to know. Good to know that I played a decent, worthy opponent. But yeah, this was a very standard game that was essentially determined by positioning more than anything else. 200 plus a month. Wow. Hey, what's up, Razor Minchip? I was actually wondering where you've been. How's it going, man? Doom Cookie, always good to see you. Powerade Floyd showing up. We're getting the whole crew assembled here, guys. So this is the Clan War game that I just played. We ended up winning 3 games to 1. Actually went with 2 Hellions. I didn't realize that. So 1 Reaper, 2 Hellions. He's going into Reactor, Cyclones, and he did go Banshee. I went Banshee as well, but his units here caught my Banshee going to the left. Just been on weird hours. We were looking at replays. Yeah, absolutely, man, for sure. I'm actually. So I did my ladder session earlier today. Did like an hour and 40-minute stream, just ladder. And now I'm going to do replay analysis. Cast a couple replays that Doom Cookie sent me, as well as Nakamura. And then if I still have time after that, prior to going to the gym, I'd like to play a few viewer games if people are able. If people want, and if I have the time, I'd like to do that. So yeah, I can definitely do that. Just send me the replay. Can you send it to me via Whisper so I can just Whisper, whatever, direct message, so I can just pull it up on my PC? I would appreciate it. Thank you. All right, yeah. So he just saw this. Good map awareness on his part. Very good, actually. It was just in the corner of his eye. Of course, I was preemptively prepared for his Banshee, so that worked out pretty well. Third bases are almost identically timed. I think did he not get? Yeah, I think he didn't get Cloak, actually. I think he just went for the Banshee with no Cloak. Yeah, absolutely, man, for sure. Yeah, we can go. We can play a 1v1. I'm gonna fast forward this a little bit. My Banshee did pretty decent damage here. Killed a bunch of Marines. Didn't quite get that reactor. That would have been very nice. So, let's see. So, very slightly ahead. I landed my third base before he did. Also, I believe it was my Banshee that saw him about to move out here. And then I send my Banshee in. Or was it this? I know I sent this Banshee in at some point. Maybe I already did that, and I just missed it. But yeah. Anyway, the map vision there, sending the Marines out, probably saved me from a loss, because he would have been able to get into this position and siege up my base. So close, I know, I was so close to getting that reactor. I think one more shot would have done it. I knew after I took this out that I was ahead. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that this was burning until a bit too late. I lose this tech lab. It's only like, what, 25, something like that, 25 seconds of production time, but still. My combat shields is late. I just straight up forgot it for a couple of minutes. I do have an upgrade advantage, which I kept throughout the game. He already has combat shields, though. Even on tanks, I've got a slight Marine lead, and I'm pretty sure I kept that Marine lead throughout the whole game. Fourth bases are on the way for both of us. He goes up to 8 racks before I did. I'm getting my second factory now. I don't think he has one yet. No, he does not have a second factory. I have no idea about this army, and he actually goes right when he sees me move out. This was a really nice move. I think he waited, or I'm sorry, I think he didn't wait long enough. If he would have waited just a little bit longer, my army wouldn't have been able to come back and take this out. But on the other hand, if he waited too long, then I would be on top of his third base. Now remember, I don't have combat shields for this fight. I think if I did have combat shields, it would have gone my way more convincingly. I have an upgrade advantage, but combat shields are so important. That kind of comes through. So this is the game right here, Kilshay. I'm analyzing it. Our team won 3-1, and I did win this game. It was a pretty even game, as you can see here from the resources lost. So like I said, I was a bit late to my additional barracks, my racks 6 through 8. Did get that second factory up at a decent time. My upgrades, for the most part, were well timed. I was a bit gas starved, so my 2-2 was not as quick as it could have been. I still don't have combat shields, and I don't realize it until I come down here to attack. Oh, no, there it is. Yep, right there. Just starting it now, so very late. My 2-2 is finished before my combat shields, so that's not fantastic for me. Game. Okay, yeah, sure thing, man. We'll take a look at the options right now. Sound. Is that any better? I moved the mic closer, and I'll turn down the game sounds a bit as well. Hopefully that helps. Let's see. I never get when they put production on the map this early. Like, come on, big enough for me. We'll wipe once. Yeah, I agree. It is a bit early to put those racks out there. You know, like, eventually, I do believe I put my barracks here because I wanted a choke point at that point in the game, but it's outside of my planetary fortress, not outside of my orbital. So, you know, if they were to come in and attack me, you'll see my racks are here, but again, it's defended by a planetary. So, and it creates a choke point heading into the planetary, which is what I want. Creating a choke point going into the orbital doesn't really make sense. Or not as much sense anyway. It's better? Okay, good. Yeah, so I have no combat shields here. If I did have them, I think I would have won this fight. I took out his Marines, but I lost my tanks, so of course that's not great. Behind by a bit here in resources lost. However, I'm ahead in both worker supply, was ahead for a second there in army supply, and I have an upgrade advantage at 2-2 versus +2 attack, +1 armor, and I have +1 vehicle weapons with +2 vehicle weapons on the way. So those definitely help out. I do have combat shields now, so the game is more or less evened out. Like I said, I have an upgrade advantage. Somewhat significant upgrade advantage. However, his composition is better than mine, I would say, because he has air superiority. Like, very, very clearly has air superiority. His choke point actually kind of works against him here. Now, I'm not able to win this engagement. I actually thought I might lose the game at this point. Very nearly did. Very nearly did. His Marine count is a little bit low, but he's doubling me in tanks. He has more medevacs. He has uncontested air superiority, so he's definitely in good shape right here. Nice team. Thanks, Jackal. Appreciate it, man. Thing is, you want to save those in case you'll blow them up, run. You're already wasting a ton of precious time. Yeah, sure. I mean, so if I want the overall Aku, the overall score was 3-1 in our favor. So like I was saying, Doom Cookie, sometimes it does benefit you to put them here if you specifically want a choke point. It's especially prevalent in TVP and TVZ when you want to get the melee units coming through there. So whether it's Ultralisk, Fling Bane, or Charge Lots. Like I said, it's not as common in TVT, but in this case, I just wanted to protect my planetary, and then my planetary also helps assist with the protection. Wait, am I lying? Did I end up putting it? Maybe I'm thinking of the game I played against Frame Show. Now that I think about it, maybe I didn't put my additional racks down there this time. Maybe I put them up here. We'll see. Anyway. Yeah, so he's been slightly out trading me in almost every engagement, so he's just accrued this lead. I have a supply lead. I guess my macro has been pretty decent. I'm able to take out his 5th base, which is really nice, because I have my 5th base here. So once I got that, I felt pretty confident. So I've got 3-3 against +3 attack and +2 armor. And I've got +2 vehicle weapons against nothing for now. He is going to get +1 vehicle weapons. I got high sec auto tracking. Okay, no, I was right. So I did end up putting them here. And building armor. 8 Marines. Yeah, 8 Marines killed a PF. That's right. And so we're about to see the game deciding engagement. I'm scanning here to make sure he hasn't expanded over there. But yeah, I'm looking to attack down the middle. I see his army out of the corner of my eye. Siege up first. Try to force a siege. Back off. Again, I am at an upgrade advantage. At 2-0 right now on the tanks, and 3-3 to 3-2 on the bio. But again, he has Vikings and I don't. So yeah, his siege up is very late. My tanks are ready to go, and we'll take him out there for the win. But yeah, it was a pretty good game. Yeah, Falconet, that was the replay of the clan war game. So we won 3 games to 1. All right, let me get that replay from Razormint. 8 zealots would never kill a planetary. That is true. Not even 8 charge lots, I don't think. Okay, we're gonna take a quick look at Razormint's game. Then I wanted to cast a game or two. I see there's Confed Clan everywhere on ladder. You would play with them. I'm actually not sure. I could catch the schedule. Wrong if the PF was already burning. Hey, yeah, good point, man. Good point. If it was already burning, they could put the finishing touches on. Florencio, new Twitch account. I like that. Flow12Encio. Always good to see you, man. Is that a new account that you're streaming from? If so, I'll give it a follow. I know you got locked out of your change. Oh, you just changed the name? So I'm still following you then, right? If it was just a name change, then it doesn't undo my follow. Same account. Okay, good. So I'm still following you then. All right, let's take a look. We need to hop onto NA, and we'll take a look at Razormint's game. We'll cast one of Doom Cookie's games that he sent. And then I would like to get a short, hey, what's up, Alec? How you doing, man? Or Yesum. By the way, do you prefer Yesum or Alec? Which do you prefer? I know before you said most people call you Yesum, but if you prefer Alec, we can go with that. Okay, let's go. He is pretty bossy like that. Okay, yeah, I'll go with Alec. It's just easier for me. All right, so we're gonna take a look at this one. Razorman asked for some advice. This is the TVZ. I just like hearing my name. Yeah. Actually, you know what? One thing I like when I watch streams is when streamers really actually engage with the chat. I know, like on a larger scale, for the really popular streamers with a lot of viewers, it's a lot harder to engage on a personal level. But one thing that's really cool about the smaller streams is that you do get more engagement. Okay, let's take a look at the build. It's gonna be a 2-1-1. Got the reactor. It's an SCV scout, Reaper scout, so SCV doing its due diligence, scouts the gas. Reaper's gonna come up here. Definitely want to confirm the third. Let's slow it down a little bit. So yeah, we want to confirm the third with the Reaper. As of right now, we see no saturation. There are drones now, but so first thing I would do would be check for a third now, especially after seeing no saturation here. In this case, you know, it could just be that he's late to making drones or whatever. But yeah, this Reaper needs to hang around here and here. And then you want to hang out in the attack path. You want to find out how many Lings are coming. If you just see like 4 to 6, you don't have to worry about it. Aw, heck yeah. Thanks a lot, Jackal. I always appreciate it, man. I really, really appreciate that. All right, so the Reaper was taken out. So first thing I'm going to point out, and we'll take a look at the build simultaneously. So this, it's a really, really big deal to keep your Reaper alive, Razormint, for the reasons that I mentioned. You've got to find out. So your SCV has one job for the most part. That is to scout whether it's hatch first or pull first. Okay, so I guess maybe technically 2 jobs, but it's one scouting path. Hatch first or pull first, and then are they continuing to mine gas past 100? So meaning, are they getting more gas than is necessary just for speed? So that's the first thing. If they're pulling drones off of gas, usually you don't have to worry about anything right away. Then your Reaper comes up. Your Reaper's job is going to be to scout for a third, check for saturation. After those 2 objectives are accomplished, he wants to hang around, stay alive, and see how many Lings are coming out. Also, if you can poke back in and see saturation or poke back in and see tech, that's really good. But he has to see if there's a third base or not. The reason for that is, especially if you're going 2-1-1 and he kills your Reaper, he can go Ling Bane all in, and there's almost nothing that you can do about it. In fact, Nakamura does this all the time in the custom games. If he's able to kill my Reaper like too earlier than he should, I should say, he'll go for a Ling Bane all in. And like I said, there's nothing that you can do about it. That Reaper has to stay out there and find out what's coming. Let's see. You're making it kind of complex. They don't have a third, no saturation, then it's an all in. Which part did I make too complex? I'm kind of confused. Isn't that what I said? I mean, I think I explained it pretty simply. SCV scouts hatch first or pull first, and scouts for gas. Reaper scouts for third base. After third base, scout saturation. Then return to attack path. But anyway. Fast forward a little bit here. Everything is looking all right. Of course, we want to shoot for... hold on. By the way, this is what I'm talking about right here. It's not Ling Bane in this case, not yet. The Baneling Nest is on the way, but this is exactly what I was talking about. If the Reaper is killed, you have nothing out here on this entire map to see this flood of Lings coming. And with the 2-1-1, This is going to be your setup pretty much every time. How long do I need to scout with the SCV? Just gas first or I'm sorry, hatch first or pull first. So just he goes right up past here. He sees if he sees the timing of the hatchery. Go up, scout the gas, and you can send him home. What I like to do is I like to send him to one of the third base locations. That's not really necessary. If you're confident doing that, go for it. Um, but yeah, so all the SCV needs to do is hatch first or pull first, check his gas count, return home. Let's see. Putting too much emphasis on the SCV, you don't need to go as far. No, that's no Doom Cookie. I totally disagree. In fact, that's something that my Grandmaster Zerg friend told me to do. So I mean that's definitely wrong. The SCV has to scout the gas because you can that can predict whether or not you're going to get uh, whether or not they're going roaches. For example, it lets you know that something else could be in play. It doesn't mean they're all inning you if they're going past speed, but it lets you know that you have to get a follow-up scout. That's something specifically that my Grandmaster Zerg friend told me to do with that SCV scout every time. It's actually really important. Let's see. No, I don't. I don't 17 SCV scout in in TVC. That's not necessary. Just send the if you what I do is I send the SCV shortly before the barracks is finished. What that will do, now this will get a little more complicated. So, okay, I'll give you two versions, the simple version and the actual complicated version. The simple version is send your barracks SCV. Your barracks SCV will show up and he'll see if it's hatch first or pull first. The more complicated version, so if this version is too complicated, just send barracks SCV. The more complicated version is if you send it about, let's say, 5 or so seconds before your barracks finishes, and that's at 19 supply, by the way. If you send it at that point, your SCV will arrive and it will give you the information of hatch first or pull first before your Reaper finishes. So what that does is it lets you build another Reaper or your reactor. So again, I know this is complicated. So again, just if it's too complicated for you, just do the barracks SCV as your scout. But what that allows you to do, if you get that information 5 seconds sooner, is it lets you choose to make that second Reaper or the reactor if they're going pool first and they're sending a bunch of lings across, and you just did a barracks SCV scout, like he finishes the barracks and then he goes across, and you made a reactor. In a lot of cases, you have to cancel that reactor. So that's the difference. But that doesn't happen too often. So like I said, if all else fails, just do your barracks SCV at 19. Fair point. You have to prepare with 2-1. Yes, that's very true. So Doom Cookie, that's right, and you bring up a good point. When you scout, like I should say, when you confirm that there's aggression, you have to change. You have to change something in your 2-1-1. Depending on what's coming your way, you could throw down a bunker. You can get factory units out instead of the reactor, etc. There are a lot of different scenarios, so I'm not going to go into all of them. But if you confirm that there's aggression coming, you have to do something to change your 2-1-1. Let me see what else I missed in the chat before I proceed. And yes, thank you, Doom Cookie, for pointing that out. Click on the extractor if it has less than 2400. It would mean that they mined more than 100. Or wait, it's shoot that changed. That changed. It's if it's 2150, or if it's less than 2150, because the full geyser is 2250 now, right? So yeah, if it's less than 2150, if they continue mining past that, what that lets you know is it doesn't mean you panic and start like throwing down bunkers and stuff. All it lets you know is your Reaper has to find out what's next. If they stop at 2150, then you don't have to worry about anything immediately, because the all of Zerg's aggression in the early game, aside from a Ling flood is going to be gas-based. That means, you know, roaches and or ravagers, banelings. So 2-1 counters roaches pretty well. Yes, when stim is done, yes. If it's a ton of lings, mines, or hellions, correct. Medivacs will be delayed, but it's fine, yes. So that's 100% correct from Doom Cookie. Let's see. Really like that second. Yeah, the second Reaper option, like I said, that's crucial. I know it is more complex. Once you become comfortable with it, I definitely recommend doing it. That saved me many, many times. I actually don't remember any time that I have ever had to cancel my low ground command center. Because sending that SCV out about 5 seconds earlier will give you that information and it will let you make the Reaper without having to cancel a reactor. So definitely recommend it if it's not, like I said, if it's not too complicated. Okay, I think we can proceed from here, guys. 2-1. Okay, I think I saw that. Had to cancel my CC for pull first, even with Reaper. Yes, exactly. So sometimes one Reaper, if the Zerg is good, one Reaper won't be enough. What they'll do is they'll send off 1 to 2 lings to attack your SCV building the command center, and however many lings they make, 4 to 6 lings will attack your Reaper. And even though they're going to be slow lings at that point, all they have to do is zone your Reaper away from the defense of the SCV. So yeah, good Zergs will do that. And if you don't get that information like literally 5 seconds sooner, you're going to have that reactor building, then you have to cancel it, and you're in a dogfight to not cancel your CC, which is not what you want. You probably have to pull like 3-4 SCVs down here. It's not a comfortable situation. So if you can get used to it, about 5 seconds. So your SCV that you pull from the line, about when this racks is about 5 seconds from finishing, that SCV should be leaving the base. Okay. All right. Let's proceed. Okay, then enjoy the Reaper Soda. Let's see. So yeah, and Alec, I always send my Reaper across. Unless my SCV confirms that it's pull first. But I should say my default is to send my Reaper across to the third base always, unless the SCV confirms pull first. Then of course I keep them at home, make a second Reaper, and you're totally fine. You do want to send your SCV to the third base location to see if they're continuing with a 2 baseling Bane all in, or if they're trying to take a third behind it. All right, let's continue. But yeah, so this is actually a very instructive game because this right here is what you can expect. Exactly this. It's actually funny that I was saying it's a really, really big deal to lose your Reaper because you can go against a Ling Bane all in and there's nothing you can do. Unless you blindly prepare, and you have to prepare a lot. So all things considered, this was actually a pretty decent defense. All things considered, for how much of a disaster it was when it started out. But we've got a third base here for the Zerg. Losing the reactor hurts because we're not gonna have much production, and he can just continue with the Ling Flood. It's rigged. Dude, Razorman, you had the most epic streak ever at the beginning, your first day here on the stream. Okay, let's make sure I'm not missing anything else. Mech or die. Can't imagine opening TVZ without 6 Hellions, so you 2-1 turn into hardcore. I enjoy the 2-1-1 a lot, man. This guy actually doesn't need to continue making lings like this. He should be making workers. There's no need to continue doing this, especially keeping them home defensively. If he's going to make lings like this, they should be here right now. But anyway, fast forward a bit more. The most significant thing in the game has already happened, and I think we've adequately gone over why that is. Slow it down a bit. Okay, good. Yeah, with all these lings out here, Widow Mines are a good choice. He's actually going into roaches. Not sure why that is. Does he even have any roaches? No, he doesn't have any roaches, but he's getting roach speed. Okay, let's see what's going on with the third base situation. Still 3 racks, need a third base, got the resources for it. Alright, honestly, like, what I think happened here is your macro is better than your opponent's. You know, in all honesty, he should have been able to put the game away pretty easily from the position that he was in, but good job on your part to, like, you just straight up out macroed him. At the higher level of play, though, after that Ling Bane bust, if he's gonna make all of those Lings, he just needs to keep them on top of your natural, and there's not really anything that you can do. So, oh, it was on high ground. Okay, cool. Sorry, I missed that. But converted me to buy. Dude, I'm happy to have done so, and I'm also sorry at the same time. Now your wrists are not going to thank me. Crap, those are the wrong. No worries, man. I mean, you can send me another one. I can go over one more, but it'll be very quick. Thanks a lot for the host, Project Gaming Art. I really appreciate it. First we make the tech, then the unit. After losing 3,000 points in one go, I thought that too. Thank you very much again for the host. Really appreciate that. Your wrists are killing. Yeah, my wrists will like they'll lock up. Like it's hard to explain, but it's painful. So I always am doing this to stretch my wrists out between games because it does get pretty intense. So let's do a very brief recap of the most important points of that one, Razormint, even though that wasn't the game that you intended to send. But number one, SCV, scout. Hatch first or pull first, then gas count. Reaper has to scout for third base and or saturation at the natural. Or I should say and saturation at the natural. Keep the Reaper alive at all costs. If you lose the Reaper, you're going to be in... You're very, very vulnerable to Ling Bane busts in particular, or Roach builds. So those are the two most important things, really, from that game. All right, this next one we're going to have to go through a bit more quickly because I did want to play a couple of games. Give me 1 second here. Okay, I hate on Discord when I get pinged and then I have to scroll through like a million messages. All right, I think we're good there. Okay, let me get the next replay. Yeah, this one we're going to have to go through more quickly. Okay. Thanks a lot, Project Gaming Art. There should be a thing saying you have a new mention. Agreed. Hand grips work well. I've never used those, Kilshay. What exactly do they do? You know there is a mentions button. I actually don't know that, Doom Cookie. I'm a complete scrub. Like, anything technologically related, I'm a scrub. Okay, let's get this one here. Okay, it was this. Okay, this is a long game, so I am going to have to go through it very quickly in order to get a couple of games in before I go to the gym. And then later tonight, I'm still hoping to work on the TBT build with Kilshay. Before I do that, I'll have to review that replay again so that I remember the benchmarks. So we do have another TVZ. Got the SCV Scout. Slow this down a little bit. There goes the Reaper. Okay, Reaper sees the saturation. Now you want to look for the third. This is good so far. Now you need to look for the third. Slow it down a little more. Yeah, so this Reaper right here, go here, and then you return to this position. Let's check out the build. Poking in, scouting the tech, that's good also, but, theoretically, we still don't know if there's a third base right now. For all we know, after that Reaper died, like, he could be adding gases and going up to lair for something crazy like 2-base muta. It's not very common, but we want to confirm that there is a third base. So, all right. Got the 2-1-1. Reasonably well timed. Remember, we want to aim for a 445 boost. So it's about 15 seconds late, but all things considered, not too bad. Come in here, want to clear some creep. Make sure you have a scan available for this. Wow, okay, yeah, that was very, very bold. This is something that I'm guilty of sometimes too. You'll see me do it on stream. I've gotten better about it, but I do make this mistake. You have to keep those Marines alive. You absolutely have to keep the Marines alive, number one. Number two, clear creep, and only engage his lings off of creep, unless you're 100% sure that you can kill them. Even then, you got to be very careful. The 2-1-1 is designed to clear creep, force him to remake lings, not let him get his drone count up too high, and then you push across with this right here, with this 1-1. So very quickly, we'll pause here. So take a look at this and add 16 Marines to that, or I think technically there were 14 Marines in those medevacs. We take a look at the army supply right now, 45 to 30. Take a look at the units, add 14 Marines to that. I mean, there's 61 lings, you know, that's a pretty high amount, but basically you have 30 Marines, 4 medevacs, 1 widow mine versus 1 baneling and 61 lings. With proper positioning in a choke point, you can win that fight. More likely though, what you would do is set up your widow mine and then start kiting off of creep. You don't need to kill this army right now, but of course you would want to hit when 1-1 finishes. Let's see. A week ago, I started at about 20 pounds per square inch. They work wrist and hand muscles. Okay, yeah, I've never used one, but that definitely sounds like it'd be useful. One second. Tip given to me was clear creep in the direction. Yes, exactly. Kilshay is totally right. You want to clear creep in the direction of your attack. So like in this case, for example, instead of diving onto creep here and trying to kill his whole army, make sure you have a scan available when your medevacs land. So you're going to have to hold back on a mule, have a scan available, clear creep, and only engage that army off of creep. Again, unless you're 100% certain you can take the army, like if he just over-droned really hard or he didn't make enough units, but that's rare, so don't expect that. All right, let's proceed. Okay, good wraparound here from the Zerg opponent. He doesn't have baneling speed on the way, but I don't think it even matters. So again, engaging on creep here is very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous, especially with the Hydras out now. But 1-1 is finished. We have an armory on the... Okay, we do have an armory complete, so we need 2-2 now. Really nice 4th base timing. We'll take a look at the workers. Good worker count. So, I mean, your macro is pretty solid. I've got to say that. Your 2-2 is starting at the same time as his 1-1. So your macro is very, very good. So it really just looks like the engagements and the decision-making so far that need a little bit of work. But this is really nice. We're gonna fast forward a little bit more because it looks like we're gonna head into a late game. He's getting Spire, he's getting Hive simultaneously, so it looks like he probably wants Broodlords. I like it's not gonna last long, but okay, slow it down again so we can look at this engagement. He still doesn't have baneling speed. I was just gonna say, if you focus the banelings there, you could have taken this army, but you really need to get rid of this creep so that you can push better. Okay, there we go. This is what I want to see. And we need to clear that there. Macro is looking very good indeed. 3-3 started at the same time as his 2-2. He's getting adrenal glands and ultras, so it looks like he's not going to go straight for brutes. How many racks do we have? Got 9 racks. 3 factories, 1 starport. So your infrastructure is good. Spending needs to be improved, but the infrastructure's there. A bit indecisive. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the spending is definitely hurting because we should have a lot of army here to deal with this right now. But you're floating a lot of minerals in particular. Bio will always float gas for the most part. but too many minerals are floating. Good job clearing this out. Got him down to 4 bases, and you're on 4 bases, about to take a 5th. Yeah, Ultras with Chitinous are coming out, and that totally changes the game unless you prepare for it preemptively in most cases. If you start preparing as the Ultralisks come to attack you, it's usually too late. So yeah, here they are. Chitinous is about to finish up, and this is a totally different game now. Actually managed to kill them a lot better than I expected, but still, you see the supplies are evening out. He still doesn't have Baneling. If the guy had Baneling speed, it would be a bit more difficult as well. But yeah, so we absolutely need Liberators. There they are, Liberators and or Ghosts and or a lot of Marauders. So yeah, Libs, Ghosts, Marauders. There we go. There are the Ghosts. There are the Liberators. So composition's coming along now. Pretty close in terms of resources lost. Yeah, the game is going to be much harder for you now. At this phase of the game, becomes extremely difficult for Terran. And you essentially just have to turtle up, really. Turtle up, going mass nuke around the map is probably the best strategy at this point. Sensor towers are good. Your macro is good. I mean, you take bases very well on time. It looks like you'll get that. Shouldn't even try to defend that. You should try to set up a position to push in here. But yeah, this is what I like. More Liberators. Get a one thing here. Don't wait on creep. Clear the creep first. Get a pre-split. Just waiting on creep is dangerous. For all you know, he's coming in from here. Maybe over here as well. In this case, you've got a sensor tower, so you're prepared for that. But basically, you don't know if he's coming up. I should say coming up from here and here. So be very wary of just waiting on creep. Clear the creep, then get your pre-split, just to be safe. Let's make sure I'm not missing anything in chat. Yeah, the approximate time I'm going to be back, usually around 8:30 or 9 Eastern time. Okay, before I continue, let me make sure I didn't miss anything else. Terran require micro and some splits for sure. Never, ever drop on creep. Yes. Never, yeah, Doom Cookie said it best. Never, ever drop on creep with the 211. Drop off of creep, then go for it. Use your scan, clear the creep. And keep in your mind that you're not trying to win with a 211 outright. What you're trying to do is set up your push at 1-1. You're clearing creep toward the attack that you're going to hit later. Anything else that you get done is just bonus, and you don't want to lose any units while trying to accomplish that first objective. Clearing creep. If you're lucky, you might get a queen. As the Zergs get better, the ones that you face on ladder, you will rarely even get a queen. And only attack the Lings and or Banelings off of creep. Do not engage them on creep. So, by the way, this is the difficulty of engaging on creep here. He was able to quickly run past your Liberators and get to the heart of your bio. Another reason why clearing the creep before the attack is extremely important. Okay, so floating a lot here. Part of that is because a lot of your production was taken out, though, so it's not entirely your fault. You lost a lot of production. So we see now this is actually a very big advantage for Zerg, as Terran generally outtrades Zerg, just the way the races work. So Terran outtrades Zerg, and Zerg outmines Terran. at this point, there isn't too much that can be done. This army is super, super powerful. Like I said before, as soon as those Ultralisks came out, the game changed. It's not that you were lost at that point, but it's a totally different game. You have to use totally different tactics. Straight up and army-on-army engagements are extremely difficult and can only be they can only be taken in certain positions on the map. The Ultralisks out in the open will destroy your army, so you have to get them coming through choke points. Even then it's difficult. So your composition is actually good, by the way. I do want to point that out. A little marine heavy now, considering Ultras are in play. But you had your Ghosts and your Liberators at a decent time. It was just about the position where the attacks, where the engagements occurred. Good job here. Good job battling and staying in the game. It's just that, like, we see this bank here is the problem. He's got a base. So that's the real issue here. In fact, you're actually out trading him pretty darn well now. You just don't have the economy to continue after winning the engagements. Hey, what's up, Jiggy? But I've got to say, let's see, it's all about that base. Yeah, nice. Well played, man. Well played. Yeah, I like I was saying before, if I'm not mistaken, Razorman, are you Diamond 2 or Diamond 3? I don't recall. But your macro is either way, your macro is very good for your league. Your macro is quite good. It's about the decision making and the engagements from what I can see in all of the games we've looked at from you. It's more about tactics than anything else. Clearing creep prior to the engagement, not overcommitting, knowing what the objective is of your 2-1-1, for example, and hitting the objective, not trying to crush somebody with it. Yeah, at this point, he's got you pretty much, doubled in supply almost. And he has a gigantic bank, so there basically isn't anything that you can do here. So we're going to just watch this one very quickly until the end. All he has to do from here on out is just trade. He doesn't even have to trade efficiently, cost efficiently. As I say a lot of times, it's the same concept in chess. When you're ahead, if you're significantly ahead, you can trade down a little bit. You can trade with slight inefficiency just to get him down to a king versus your king and a pawn, depending on what file that pawn is on. Again, anyway, you understand the point. So yeah, just trade, and again, we see that Razorman is actually out trading the Zerg, but given how much the Zerg has mined, it isn't going to matter. So yeah, this is going to be GG. Alright, any questions before we go on for this one? Diamond 2 going to do something good. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. But your macro is quite good. So it's just going to come down to the decision making and the engagements. Don't know who's turn with this micro on this spam goes to micro level, so they can. Yeah, I think we need to focus more on the objectives than about properly, I should say, like properly using the build or using the build to its strengths. So 2-1-1, clear creep, don't overcommit. As Doom Cookie said, don't drop on creep, drop off of creep, scan, clear creep, pull back, kill lings off of creep. If he starts to overwhelm you or is about to get us around, pick up, run away. If queens start to close the range on your medevacs, pick up, run away. You need to keep those marines alive for the 1-1 push. His macro save, agreed. Yeah, his macro is quite good. Yeah, I totally agree with Falconet. The engagements were not good. In the decision making with regard to the attacks wasn't good. But your macro is really strong. You take your bases, like I said, you get your upgrades on time. You take your bases at good times. Only one little thing about your macro is sometimes you let your mineral bank go too high. But besides that, the macro is actually very good. Yeah, his baneling speed was late, but again, so I mean that sort of accentuates what Falconet and I were saying, is that so if the baneling speed was researched at a normal time, the engagements would have been even worse. They would have been even more tilted in Zerg's favor. So let's see. Do you think I've been applying your advice well so far? Or am I doing well? No, you're doing quite well, man. In my opinion, you're doing quite well. Like I said, for someone who's in that like diamond 3, like high diamond 3, low diamond 2 range, I think you're doing very well. As a matter of fact, you're also doing the right thing in having your putting your losses on display for people to critique and to give you constructive feedback. So that's really good. Basically, micro and positioning setup. You don't need to be Marine King to pre-split. Yes, very good advice again from Doom Cookie. So yeah, you don't need to go nuts with the micro, just like Doom Cookie said. Get the position before the engagement, clear creep before the engagement, and then pre-split. Pre-split and then try to bait him in, like, to your tanks or your Widow Mines or your Liberators. And agree, yeah, agreed. The macro is very, very strong. By the way, it's actually kind of interesting for me to see the issues that you're facing right now, Razorman, because I think when I was making the jump from Diamond to Master, I had very similar problems. Like my micro was okay. Um, it wasn't bad or anything, um, but it was more about the decision making being way too aggressive on creep and just engagement taking in general, knowing which engagements to take and where to take them. You guys, my regular viewers, have probably heard me say it on stream before. For me, that was the biggest issue in going from Diamond to Master, was the decision making and the engagement taking. Like my macro was fine, my micro was, like I said, not saying it was fantastic, but it was okay. Because I practiced it a ton, um, but it was all about the engagements. So it's really, really important. Even if you have incredible micro, if you're engaging on creep, a lot of times, if you're engaging on creep without the proper setup, a lot of times the micro doesn't even matter that much. So you have to get the right setup and the right position, and then you micro. Let's see. I think I watch Byun too much. His major flaw is pushing on the creep with too much. Yeah, Byun is an extremely aggressive and micro-oriented player, for sure. I would suggest watching Maru right now. Maru in Innovation. Probably Innovation, I think, is the safest player to try to emulate because he has a very, very solid style. His micro is good, obviously, um, but his style is usually about setting up a push, just like a brutal push. Um, a timing attack, but not necessarily in the sense of it being an all-in. And once he starts that push, he pretty much doesn't stop. His macro is flawless. Yeah, yeah, Innovation streams too. Like I definitely think Innovation is the best player to try to emulate, but Maru is he's the best Terran right now for sure. But Maru also does a lot of micro-based play. He'll go with like really aggressive builds, but he's a beast in the late game too. It's just his style is not that Innovation style is easy to emulate, but I think Innovation style is more easily emulated than Maru's is because Maru just has a ton of talent and, like I said, very, very good control that he uses to his advantage. Innovation doesn't really do anything fancy at all. I would love to watch him and learn better with first-person view. Does Maru stream, or does anyone have videos for this first person? Yeah, Maru streams sometimes. Innovation streams. All right, guys. So if anybody wants to do a peep mode session now, I did want to cast one Doom Cookie replay. I'm just not sure. Like I'm looking at the time here. I don't think I'm gonna have time to do that right now, so I'm probably going to have to push that one tomorrow. We can do a short peep mode session. I'll cast the games that I'm not playing. I probably have about 30 minutes. Okay, Razormint, come on, hop on. So yeah, I've got about 30 minutes before I have to go to the gym, so it's going to be a very short session for me, but I'd like to get a couple of games in since we didn't really do a good peep mode session over the weekend. Innovation sometimes looks like Hero Marine. What do you mean in terms of his style? I assume you mean Falconet? It's fine, do it later. Those games are like good wine. They don't need to. Nice. Yeah, I think that's a fair point, Falconet. I see what you're saying. All right, Razormint, I thought I had you added on here. Thought I did. Maybe not. All right, if I don't have you added on battle.net, just join this channel and I'll add you. Hero Marine got very good mechanics, but simple builds. Or wait, yeah, exactly. It's actually, you know, it's a very interesting point as well, Falcon X. I hadn't thought of it that way, and you're right. And what I also noticed about Hero Marine will lose to or get frustrated by like stupid builds or bad builds, things like that. Or, you know, he'll lose to bad players because they're doing bad things. Which, in my opinion, I think is a really dumb way to. He's a smart guy, but I think it's a very dumb way to look at the game. But innovation is also similar in that his macro is insane, but a lot of time when he loses, a lot of times it will be because he doesn't make an adjustment and he just has like his one correct way of playing in his mind, and he tunnel visions on it, and he can't really I don't want to say he can't do anything else, but he's like kind of refuses to do anything else. By the way, Flash was that way in StarCraft 2 before he retired also. Okay, let's get this going here. I guess we'll just go acid plants. Green plays pure bio and TBT occasionally. You have to respect that. Oh, are you serious? Does he play tankless bio? Is it tank? Does he play tankless bio? I actually used to do that I mean, very occasionally in Heart of the Swarm. I haven't done it in Legacy of the Void at all. But it's a really fun style to play. It's extremely difficult. It's not very good, but you have a ton of mobility. Yeah, it's I did that in Heart of the Swarm in TVZ, and a couple of times I tried it in TVT, but in TVZ and in TVP, because Maru, if you guys remember, Maru used to do it in TVP also. But yeah, in TVZ I would go tankless bio. It's a lot of fun. It's hyper aggressive, drop it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that style's actually been around for a while. It's been around since I think probably like early Heart of the Swarm. Really cool style. Cyclone Marine tanks. Okay. Cell died in a 2013 TV with innovation. Yeah, for a while, Maru being super aggressive in TVP with just bio medevac, and he would, if you guys remember, he would load up the medevacs, boost them, and just drop them on top of Colossi. It was sick, man. All right, so Falconet is going to actually Aku and Falconet. Okay, are we good here? Terran. I don't think anyone who's in chat right now was following my stream during Heart of the Swarm. I mean, like Jiggy, Jiggy was. Frame Show might have been, but I used to play that style on stream in TVZ. A few times I played it on ladder. Most of the time I would do it in custom games though, but it's a lot of fun. And just like I think it was Doom Cookie who said, you have to be hyper aggressive. You pretty much can't take any defensive engagements because you don't have any splash. So you just have to be hyper aggressive with the drops, and you just try to pull them apart from a million different angles. Nice split there. A million different angles throughout the entire game until you finally kill them. I did do it. I remember doing it on Catalina on ladder. Catalina was a great map for it.
Not enough minerals.
Probably the best map for it, to be honest.
Not enough game paused.
Too scared of toss and losing because of it. Really know. Yeah, Falconet, man. I think you. I mean, I don't know what build you're doing, but I felt like you know the build that I use, but I've had success with other builds as well. My biggest thing, objectively speaking, is if I can control the pace. If I can control the pace and make the Protoss react to me instead of the other way, then I feel very confident in TVP. And I think there are a lot of different ways to accomplish that objective. I think there are a lot of different builds that give you that option. Whether it's the TY/Maru build with the proxy barracks into factory.
Not enough minerals.
Maru would build the factory at home. I think TY proxied the factory, but you go Reaper into Marauders and then Cyclones. But I mean, you've got that. You've got, I mean, my build, just a factory lift. But I do it a specific way. I'm not the only one who does a factory lift build, but you know what I'm saying. But I think anything that you do that is designed to take control of the pace against Protoss gives you a better chance of winning. I think it's extremely difficult to win TVP when you are the reactive player. I don't use cheese builds. I mean, you don't have to, but it doesn't have to be cheese. It can just be pressure. It doesn't have to be cheese at all. As long as you're pressuring, you're fine.
Big job, huh? Go ahead. Fan the rear with the gear. Ah! You scared me! Big job, huh?
Command center upgrade complete. Not enough minerals.
Roger.
The Grim Reaper has arrived.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
Go ahead. What's going on?
I'm listening. Fair enough.
SCV ready.
What's a gap from above? Got something? Fear the Reaper, man. The Grim Reaper has arrived. What's a got something?
SCV ready.
Gap from fear the Reaper. Got something for me to keep.
Fan the rear.
I'm listening.
SCV ready.
Man. All right. The Grim Reaper.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
Big job. SCV ready.
What?
Command center upgrade complete.
What's it?
SCV ready.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
Got a target. SCV ready. What's going
Not
on?
enough minerals.
SCV ready. Fan the rear with the gear.
Add-on complete.
Ah! You scared me. SCV ready.
Not enough minerals.
SCV ready. SCV ready.
Taking some fire here.
SCV ready.
Add-on. Insufficient. Not enough minerals. Not enough.
SCV ready.
Not enough minerals. Insufficient Vespine gas. Insufficient Vespine gas.
Let's do this.
SCV ready. SCV ready. Bad news. SCV ready. Let's go.
Add-on.
SCV ready.
Got it. You got coordinates or what? It's up.
SCV ready.
Not enough minerals.
SCV ready.
Not enough minerals.
SCV ready.
Ready to roll out. Give us your
SCV ready.
I got my holla back.
SCV ready.
Not enough minerals. Research complete.
Go ahead.
Want a piece of me?
SCV ready. SCV ready.
Confirmed. Loud and clear. Receiving.
SCV ready. SCV ready.
This better be good.
Mayday! Mayday!
SCV ready. SCV ready.
Big job.
Holla back.
SCV ready. SCV ready.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
SCV ready.
Didn't realize those were there. Ouch.
Command center upgrade complete. Add-on.
SCV ready. SCV ready. Yo.
go ahead.
This better be good.
Add-on complete.
What's going on? SCV ready. SCV ready.
Not enough. Insufficient Vespine gas. Insufficient Vespine gas.
Going.
Big job.
SCV ready. SCV ready.
Research complete. Not enough.
Gangway.
Not enough minerals.
Huh?
You hear me?
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
SCV ready.
Not enough minerals.
Ready for dust off.
Who wants some?
Add-on complete.
Yes, indeed.
Not enough minerals.
You want a piece of me, boy?
Additional supply depots required. Additional supply depots required. Not enough minerals.
Ah, go, go, go! This better be good.
Completed.
Yeah.
By the...
What's going on? Huh?
Been waiting. Who wants some?
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
Armed and ready.
Not enough. Upgrade complete.
Want a piece of me, boy? Gangway. This better be good.
Research.
Go, go, go! You want a piece of me, boy?
Go ahead.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
Who wants some?
Not enough minerals.
Armed and ready.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
Want a piece of me, boy?
Mineral Not enough minerals.
Go, go, go!
Well, ready for pickup?
Who wants some? Huh? It's your night.
Let it roll out.
I can't build here. Gangway, coming.
Not enough minerals.
Sure.
Not enough minerals.
This better be good. You gonna give me orders? Keep your shirt up. Been waiting on you. I've been waiting. Armed and ready.
Ready to roll out.
Not enough minerals.
Ready for dust off?
Mineral field depleted. Not enough.
You want a piece of me, boy?
Not enough minerals.
This better be good. In the rear with the gear.
Upgrade complete.
Ready to plunder. Huh? Been waiting. Who wants some? Go, go, go!
Ready to roll out.
Gangway, coming through. Ready to plunder.
Not enough minerals. Upgrade complete.
Fueled up. Ready.
Mineral field depleted.
You gonna give me orders? This better be good. Ready to plunder. Want a piece of me, boy?
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not
Armed and ready.
not enough
This
minerals.
better be good. You wanna give me
Not
orders?
enough energy.
What's our target? Going.
By the number.
Not enough energy.
This better be good.
Not,
Gangway, coming through.
not enough energy.
Transformation system. You gonna get
Mineral field depleted.
Ready for pickup?
want some? Can't wait. Want a piece of me?
Command center upgrade.
Gangway,
GG. Okay, let's see. What did we miss in the chat? Yeah, Falconet, that's the thing though, man. It's like you have to play aggressively, whether it's cheese or pressure. I think that late game CVP is so difficult that if you're not trying to take control of the game early, doesn't mean you have to all in, but I think you have to put pressure on the Protoss. Otherwise, like you're kind of just asking for trouble. Was Zerg as much easier to play if I got even same range as Zerg? Usually would. Just outspam his arms when I was even winning Zerg that got plus 10k resources. Tell us something strange. Yeah, I agree with Jackal there. You've got to continue continuously. What's up, Razor man? You played pretty well there, man. Your macro is good. Your macro is good. Once you figure out your engagement taking, you're going to do very well. I'm sure of it. Yeah, I totally agree with Jackal. It's just you can't let them get the composition that they want, without paying a price. Disruptors or Templar save them. That is true. That's definitely true. Disruptors or Templar do bail them out of a lot of difficult situations. But I think with with constant harassment or constant pressure, you can set up a hard push that will kill them. I think that Falconet, I'm not sure if you were on the stream, was it last week when I looked at that innovation replay against Zest on Dreamcatcher? I think that is like the perfect example of what I'm talking about right now. It was the three rack, or I'm sorry, it was two barracks, one factory, and he pushed at Zest's third base with two tanks and 15 to 20 Marines, no medevacs. He pushed out to kill the third base, and at home he got his own third base, went up to 5 racks, and then he went for a dedicated hard push after that. But I think that's the perfect example of the objective of the strategy behind like solid TVP play right now is you have to do something meaningful, some kind of aggression or pressure to take control of the game to make them react to it. So in this case, Zest had to react to his third base being under attack. He lost his third base. He had to remake it, so then he was slightly behind. So he's already reacting. He's not just getting up to the composition that he wants. And then the dedicated push came where Innovation got his tanks on that map on Dreamcatcher. He set up his tanks, or I'm sorry, it was Widow Mines. Set up his Widow Mines. He had like one tank alive, or maybe two tanks alive behind the terrain blockers, and he did his dedicated um, push to actually try to win the game. But I think it's a perfect example of how to play. It's not passive at all, and not like just light harassment either, but like push, make them fear something while you set up the game-ending attack. All right, so we got Aku. Where is Falconet? Let's get Falconet in here. Want to see what your response was when I pushed away your big push. Yeah, check out the replay. Honestly, I don't even remember how I was responding. But yeah, check out not the replay, the VOD. But yeah, you play well, man. I've got a strong feeling that you're gonna hit Diamond 1 in the near future. Maybe let's say maybe a month or two. And I think a few months down the line, I would not be surprised to see you get Master 3. I would not be surprised at all. Whoops. We're gonna cast this one, guys. Waiting for Falconet. See if he's ready. Yeah, my play. Always a pleasure, Razorman. So this is going to be my last one here. So both of these guys are afraid of the other player's race. It's kind of funny. I think this is both players' worst matchup, if I'm not mistaken. I think PVT is Aku's worst, if I recall correctly, and I know TVP is Falconet's worst. But yeah, this is going to be the last one for today. Like I said earlier, I'm going to do basically an analysis / build practice session with Killshay later tonight after the gym. I'll probably stream it. Nah, I really do mean that. I'm basing that on what I see. Like I do think that macro is the most important, but it's not. You know what? I'll get into that in a second. First, let's introduce the players. All right, in the top left-hand corner of the map, it is our Orange Terran. We know him in Twitch chat as Falconet. His opponent in the bottom right, he is the Red Protoss. He is Aku. But yeah, so I'm basing that off of the macro, the build execution in particular, and also, so not just that, but also how quickly you guys learn. Both Doomcookie and Razormint, I see like the improvements that you guys make, especially like Doomcookie I've got more experience with because we've played. He beat me in a game we played the other day. But like I see the improvements taking shape, and this is also something that I've seen with with Scars, for example, my GM Zerg friend, who when we first met, we met on ladder, and we were both Master 3 players, and so we would play custom games after that, and I would just see like how, so like we would talk about a problem or talk about something, and then just like only a few games later, he would already like have that problem solved. He wouldn't make the same mistakes. It's like knowing what to do and doing it, as you know, as you guys know, are often two different things. But so like Doom Cookie, I see he's making like corrections and making adjustments quickly. I'm seeing the same thing in the replays that I'm analyzing from Razorman. So, and so to bring this back to what I was talking about before with Scars, I told him when he was still Master 3, I said, you're going to get GM, like, and he said, no, I don't think so. I'm a long way away. And I said, like, no, like, I can tell at the rate that you're progressing, and not just that, because some people will progress very quickly and then hit a plateau, but it wasn't just how quickly he was progressing, it was also the way that he was progressing, because I could see he was understanding things, not just like getting better at execution, but he was getting an understanding and executing better. So I told him, I said, you're gonna get you're gonna get Grandmaster next season. It was on the North American server, and he's like, no, I don't think so. And I told him, I said, I'll tell you what, when you get Grandmaster, and I said it's gonna be next season. I said when you get it, I will get you a webcam, because he streams sometimes. And I said, I'll get you a webcam for your stream. And he did it. Sure enough, he did it. I actually don't think I've ever told anyone this before, but yeah, and he got it that season. Got Grandmaster, even though he didn't think that he would. He may have started out that season like High Master 2 or Low Master 1. He got GM at the end of the season, so it wasn't like some nonsense first week of GM. First week of the season GM where, you know, you have like actually Master 2 MMR, but you get the GM order. No, he got legit GM at the end of the season. Sure enough, got him a webcam for his stream. So that's what I'm saying to you guys, Razorman and Doom Cookie. I see how quickly you guys are improving and getting a better understanding for the game. So keep that mindset of trying to improve on your mistakes, the mindset of trying to learn, and obviously keep playing. And yeah, you guys are both going to continue progressing very quickly and very well. Like I said, give it a couple of months for both of you. And I think, honestly, Doom Cookie, I think you can get Master 3 this season. I really do. I think by the end of the season, you could get Master 3. If it doesn't happen this season, I definitely think you can get it next season. And Razormint, so same thing. You know, you're starting from a little farther back in High Diamond 3, like Low Diamond 2 territory. But like I said, give it a few months. You know, we'll say like 2 seasons. I wouldn't be surprised if you could get up into Master 3. You know, like maybe like 2 seasons from now is what I think. Who knows? Might be faster, might be a little longer, but you definitely can get it. All right, so we got a third base here from Aku. 3 gateways, Robo with a couple of observers queued up. It already has 1 out on the map, and a Twilight Council. So pretty standard macro-oriented build here from Aku. He's got a little bit of everything on the ground, so this Immortal here would protect him against any kind of Cyclone build. That's not what we're seeing, of course. It looks like Falconet is going with his normal this is like his TVP 2-1-1. It's a very defensive build. Actually, I think he does it in TVZ now that I think about it as well, and gets a third base behind it. So a macro-oriented defensive build here from Falconet. Let me check the chat before we really get underway with this game. What's up, Frost? Can I get GM? honestly, like getting GM, I do think is a different beast. I think it does take a degree of talent, a lot of hard work. I really, for most people, I think it's very rare for people to get GM like based on talent alone. Even people who are talented, I think, have to put in a lot of work and study of the game. But I also think it's probably pretty difficult to make that assessment when someone is in Diamond. I think like once you're in Masters, you can start to pinpoint like specific things that need to be ironed out. You can get a better idea of that. But yeah, Master for sure. Once you get Master, let me tell you that once you get Master, I'll tell you if I think you can get it or not. These charge lots, by the way, are just shredding the drop play. They're really, really strong at shutting down drops. Just warp them in here, and you are good to go. So Aku is actually in really good shape right now, with charge already being done. Templar Archives on the way. Let's see, did I miss anything else in chat? Haven't seen Scars in a while. Yeah, so Scars, every summer, Scars goes to Spain. He has his family has a second home there. 'Cause I don't want to give too much personal information away about Scars, but yeah, so we'll just say he goes to Spain for 6 weeks every summer. So that's why he's not, and he doesn't have a good internet connection there. So that's why you haven't seen him lately. But I keep in touch with him on WhatsApp. Let's see. Avalo 18 times better than Scars. The more you say this, the more I wait for tomorrow's cast. There was a replay for you too. Awesome, man. I really am looking forward to it. Sorry I haven't been able to squeeze it in yet today, but I will definitely get it to it tomorrow at the latest. If maybe even in tonight's stream, but I think you'll probably be asleep when when I play and/or stream tonight. Not sure if I'll stream the session tonight with Killshay. We'll see. But yeah, so at the latest, I will get to it tomorrow. Really good map vision here. From Aku, he's got almost all of his angles covered. There is a little drop path right here. This is going to be barely spotted by Aku. We'll see if he responds to it. It looks like he did just catch that, so good mini-map awareness. Falconet's going to turn around. I also like this play from Falconet. Turn around, take out that pylon. He's being cautious. Definitely want to give your opponent credit. You always want to assume that your opponent, in a scenario like that, you always want to assume that they see it, that they see your units, and you don't want to hope that they don't. That almost never works out. I think this was a bit too ambitious, though, from Falconet. I think this is going to end up being a donation of units. So I really think maybe he should have just sharked around here, poke, see if there's anything there. If you see something, get out. If you don't see something, maybe head in. Even then, some high-level Protoss players will sit here with their Blink Stalkers, wait, they'll bait you in, because it looks like there's nothing there if the Terran isn't scanning, and then they'll blink on top of the medevacs. So you've got to be very, very careful when your drops are scouted like that. This push is going to occur in conjunction with Storm. So this is going to be a very, very powerful push. We see more gateway units coming across the map. No forward pylon just yet, and to my knowledge, no warp prism. Yeah, so that's the only criticism I have of this push right now from Aku, is that he's going for a very dedicated push with no reinforcements available. However, the first storm is good, hits a lot of Marines. Second storm also not bad. Good job saving the SCVs there by Falconet. He has a single medevac perched to attack. I'm not sure if this is... Okay, I was about to say, I'm not sure if he was doing everything back or if he was going to head into the fourth. Looks like he will head into the fourth, and this is the problem that I was talking about, by the way, from Aku, is that he doesn't have a forward pylon. He's got this probe here, but no pylon to warp in reinforcements. So these charge lots are coming all the way around here to hit the fourth. Now this might finish. If this finishes and Falconet can lift it, that would be really nice for him. I think Aku momentarily pulled everything back. He's got a huge wave of charge lots that are going to come in. Not going to be able to save the base though. So the base is killed, not canceled. That is a nice little victory there for Falconet, who is ahead in supply. But yeah, everything about Aku's play so far has been good, except for that one glaring error in not being able to reinforce here. We see that he has a huge bank, but he was not able to properly reinforce that attack because he didn't have his warp prism when the attack hit, and he didn't have a forward pylon. Falconet is going to try to land space. Very good job getting into a choke point here. Not sure it's going to be enough. It's going to be really close. Looks like one charge lot will survive. this should morph into a planetary in time and take out the Zealot. I don't think we're going to see the Zealot take down the planetary fortress. Props to him if he does. Good positioning on the Liberator, but the fact of the matter is a warp in of charge loss is always a gigantic pain to deal with. While this is going on, there's an attack at the third base. The scan reveals the full extent of the attacker. The first storm does whip. Falconet is running through it. He's got a lot of Marines. If he can get on top of this, he might actually be able to close this out. By close it out, I mean the engagement, possibly even the game. That was a fantastic job there by Falconet to recognize the opportunity to jump on top of that. And once again, losing the Warp Prism here prevents Aku from being able to reinforce. He still has a fairly large bank. It's not quite what it could be because he lost his fourth base earlier, but he's just going to have to sit back now and try to defend. I think Falconet may have done it, particularly with these Liberators. There's no answer for the Liberators currently. We have a fleet beacon. I'm not sure if we actually have a Stargate. Okay, we have a lot of Stargates. I don't know how I missed that in the production tab. There's been a lot of action. But anyway, there are 4 Stargates. I'm not sure if we have any Tempests. So yeah, so no Tempests whatsoever. There is a bit of a bank there, but it would take a long time to get out enough Tempests to deal with these Liberators. And in the meantime, the ground army of Falconet is extremely powerful. He's going pure Marine tank with Liberators in the air. I'm not sure how many storms we have. We've got a lot of High Templar, but I think most of them are relatively fresh. In fact, yeah, it looks like none of them have energy for storm just yet. This base is going to be sacrificed. There's no way that Aku can defend this base. I think he's going to have to buy time. He's actually going for carriers, by the way, not Tempests. He should not be engaging this at all. I think this is a huge mistake by Aku. I think he has to buy time. Like I said, sacrifice this base, pull everything back, just buy time until the carriers come out. Wait for his Templar. Yeah, so basically do what he's doing right now, but I think it was a bit late because he first sacrificed a bunch of charge lots. So he's got to buy as much time as possible, let the energy accumulate on his High Templar, wait for these 4 carriers to come out, and that's going to be his only chance to hold this off. Even then, I'm not sure it's going to be enough. A lot of these Templar just expended their energy on feedbacks there. So this is going to be a very difficult hold for Aku. It looks like Falconet wants to take a different angle of attack. Aku has to take another base now. Falconet has done a fantastic job of continuing to take bases. I believe he's got 4 in production right now. He's already maxed. He's accumulating a bank. So every advantage right now belongs to Falconet. I must also say that if he continues to make Liberators en masse will deal with Interceptors. Carriers are fantastic, but if there are a lot of Liberators out, they will deal with those Interceptors very well. Aku has to keep every one of these High Templar alive. Cannot afford to lose anything. He desperately needs that splash damage to deal with the Marines. Now there are a lot of tanks here as well. These tanks are going to be very good for catching the Gateway army out of position. However, if the carrier count gets to be too high, they won't be able to do too much. The storms go down. The first one is decent, but I think the next storms are not quite enough. This is so close. We are ending up, though, in this scenario where it's carriers against mostly tanks that are reinforcing Marines coming across the map. GG is called. There's just enough there from Falconet to put the game away, especially with the economy that he had behind that. That was a really good game, as I suspected it would be. Aku had a fantastic position in the beginning of the game, but was unable to continue pressing for the win. Carriers plus Storm, I have that. Yeah, it's a very horrific scenario. Message me on Discord. Okay, yeah, we'll do Powerade Floyd for sure, man. Nice story. Yeah, yeah. So like I was saying, you'll see if you watch the VOD of the cast there, Aku, you had a nice position. You know, I wouldn't say that it didn't have like the game locked up or anything, but after defending the double drop and pushing at Falconet's third, you had a pretty good position there. But you didn't have the first time you attacked, you didn't have a forward pylon to reinforce, and you didn't have your warp prism for the first attack. You brought the warp prism up later, but there was just no ability to reinforce after that attack. Falconet had a good defensive positioning, and then when he recognized he could dive on top of your army, he took that opportunity immediately. I don't know how to break Terran, and I ended up with a really bad fight. Yeah, so in this game, Aku, in my opinion, it was very clear you needed to have reinforcements available because you actually had a really big bank. I think it was like 1.7k minerals. I forget. You had a lot of gas as well. But for example, you sent your charge lots from your fourth all the way up to his fourth because you didn't have any pylons on the other side of the map. Need to be more. I agree. Also, yeah, I do agree. I think you kind of tried to force that engagement. And Falconet had some walls out front. He had his tanks set up. It was still a difficult position for Falconet. Hey, what's up, SMK? It's been a while, man. How you doing? Rush the carriers to go if you get a couple Tempests. Plus, I also agree. I do think a Tempests first to start chipping away at the Liberators would be good, and then add in carriers if you so choose. But the biggest issue for sure was not having reinforcements because you went with a fully dedicated attack at his third base. You had your entire army was there, but you had no ability to warp in reinforcements. Whether you won the engagement or not, everything that you had at his third base, like everything, all of your hopes and dreams rested on that army because you couldn't get anything else there to continue the attack. Yeah, Colossi are pretty good. Though, personally, I would rather play against Colossi than Disruptors. Disruptors are really, really, really strong when they're used properly. So we see, yeah, it was a very close game, and like I said, slight edge for Aku. I believe also had a resource collection edge. Not too much. Not too much. Pretty close there. Pretty close for the most part. Yeah, so up until about that point. But yeah, so pretty even all around, really. Upgrades, typically are going to be ahead for Protoss. Very, very even game, actually. Just that, the army value, like I was saying before, was a slight edge for Aku, but no ability to sustain the attack. Play against anything other than Colossus plus carriers. Yeah, I know Falconet really likes that too. That sort of like defensive 2-1-1. I know he does it in TBZ as well, somewhat frequently. So he opens up, he gets a bunker, 2 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport, so 2-1-1 infrastructure, but he gets a tank right away so that he doesn't die to any sort of all-in. So I made an Immortal in charge to defend. Yeah, the charge worked out very, very well because the charge lots, I think, his first drop was around, I think it was like 640, and the charge lots just wiped it out. That fast charge, was pretty darn good there. Gaucher, I haven't seen Gaucher on in a long time. Alright guys, I've got to get ready to go to the gym right now. I'm actually kind of running late. So I appreciate everybody watching. I'm going to be playing later tonight. Like I said, gonna do some practice with Killshay. I might stream it. If I do stream it, be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, I will be streaming tomorrow. Just go, not bad macro and start defensive, don't I? Yeah, that is true. Okay. So see you guys later tonight or tomorrow. Thanks for playing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being active in chat. I always appreciate it, guys. So have a great night, everyone, and I hope to catch you guys next stream. GG's.